One night, a nurse named Nian fell asleep while working the night shift. Then, after finishing her duty, she headed home. Her boyfriend Zhang sent a voice message saying, "I bought the brushes to paint the walls, but I have duty tonight, so I will be late." We realized that they were new to this area. At that time, she saw a bright and attractive shop at the corner of the street. She went inside and realized that it was a light shop. They sold various types of bulbs, chandeliers, and lamps. She told the shopkeeper that she looked very familiar. In response, the man said, "You seem to be in the wrong place. You don't need any lights." Then, she heard the siren of an ambulance. The shopkeeper said that there had been a major accident on the side of the highway. Hearing this, Nian said goodbye and left. Standing in front of the accident spot was her boyfriend Zhang. He said that his duty had ended a while ago. There were also their neighbor Xiaomi, his daughter Zuju, and another neighbor, Mr. Jiang. When it started to rain, they headed home. They leave. Nian says that the pain from the stretcher wheel is still there. Zhang says that he bought a brush to print on the wall. They live in a huge building. Then they go to their respective flats. While sleeping at night, Nian feels like someone is standing by the window and says, "Are you an old man, a woman, her little daughter, two sisters of the same age, and a bus driver?" Hearing this, Nian opens his eyes and sees that it is morning and Zhang is making breakfast for him, but the sandwich was completely burnt. Nian says that no one can cook this badly except you. Xiaomi and her daughter Juju were arguing downstairs. When they came down, Juju comes to them and says, "Mom is telling me to go to Dad's, but I want to stay with Mom." Xiaomi says that you have to go and I will stay here. This is the only solution. Zhang says that if this is the solution, then explain to her. She will get angry and say it will hurt. Then he takes his daughter to the room and starts explaining to her about periods and pads. Juju says, "I am too young, there is no need for all this." But even then he forces her to teach her. Juju says, "Mom, don't push me away, I want to be with you forever." Hearing this plea, he consoles her. It is seen that her nails were upside down. Nian and Zhang were painting their new room. Then he noticed that there was water on the floor of the room. Nian says that after a while, water comes here. Maybe the water pipe under the floor is leaking. Then, accidentally, Zhang's handprint gets on the wall. So when he went to wash his hands, Nian puts his own handprint on it to commemorate this incident. Then Zhang comes and paints there. When Nian gets angry, Zane says that nothing has been erased. Look closely, this memory will remain on the wall forever, but you have to paint it gently to make the wall fit so that the wall becomes normal. Then, another new tenant named Yusher comes to that building. Nian helps him bring his things. He goes up to a room on the ground floor. When Yushan was entering the room, Nian notices that the girl's two shadows are cast in the sunlight. He got scared and went straight to the roof and told Zhang about the shadow. Zhang said maybe the light was on in front of the house. The light and the sun made two shadows. When it started raining, they tried to get down from the roof but the door was locked so they had to stand there. Zhang said, "You have been neglecting yourself for the past few days. You can't stand properly due to the pain in your legs. You haven't bandaged your legs yet and you haven't eaten or drank properly. You have lost weight since before." Nian said, "You are responsible for all this." Then Zhang took him and got wet in the rain. They spent a memorable moment together. Then Juju was seen sitting on the side of the road. A man covered in dust came and said, "Come with me." Juju said, "Who are you?" Yushan was watching a video of last New Year's Eve with his best friend Xia. The two friends lived together in the previous house. Then Nian came with a pot. Yushan wanted this pot to keep the sunflower plants. Then Nian noticed again and saw that it was really Yushan's two shadows. Then the lights in his room went out. Nian said there is a light shop at the corner of the street. You can go there and get a new bulb. He was trying to fix the bulb. When Mr. Jian came by his window, he was scared to see him. Jian asked which way the light shop is. "I need to buy a bulb too." Then a shadow came and showed him the way. Jiang thanked him and left. Yuzhen was shocked to hear all this. On his way back home, Nian saw Juju being dragged by his mother into the house. Nian called him and asked if Juju was okay, but Xiaomi didn't answer and closed the door. Now he noticed one thing, Xiaomi always wears gloves. Then one day, Yuzhen came to that light shop and said that the light in his house had gone out by itself. Hearing this, the shopkeeper said, "Your destiny will be what it is. You can buy a new light if you want." But Yuzhen left without buying the light. Then Xiaomi entered the shop. Then at night, Nian went out to take out the garbage. He heard the sound of a truck and went forward. He saw a truck standing in the distance. Then he passed by. The dusty man came out and said, "My name is Li Bao. Are you an old man, a woman, her little daughter, two sisters of the same age, and a driver?" Hearing this, Nian was very scared because this man had come to her in her dream and was looking for those people. She was afraid and entered the light shop. The shopkeeper said, "This area is not for you. How did you get here?" Then Zhang came there. The shopkeeper said, "You two have to leave this area." Hearing this, they left without answering. When they entered the house, Yushan called out and said, "I thought there was a problem with the switchboard, but now I see that the lights have gone out. Every night, someone walks around in this area and sings the children's song, 'Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.'" That's when Mr. Jian came in and sang that song. He said, "It's going to rain. I have to pick up my son from school." Then Nian told Yushan, "He lives in this building." Hearing this, Yushan was about to leave, but a shadow came near the window and they both saw the shadow. Zhang returned to the room and said, "You two have to leave. Maybe there is someone else in that room, or it could be because of the reflection of the light." Nian, as a result, every person in this area has to uncover all the mysterious secrets. So first, Shami has to gather everyone to observe Mr. Jiang and Yushan better. So the next day, they organize a party on the roof of the building. Shami was helping Zhang. On this occasion, Nian pours oil on his gloves, and even when he pulls it to open it, he does not let them take off the gloves, which increases their suspicions. Then, while eating, Yushan tells that a light in his room turned off by itself and turned on again. He says that the same thing happened in their room. Then, the chopstick stuck to his hand and fell down. When Nian went to pick them up, he saw that Shami's nails were on the opposite side of the fingers. He was scared and did not know what to do. Then Mr. Jiang said, "Nian, nurse, get out of here quickly or it will be too late." After they left, Nian said, "How did you know that I am a nurse and Shami's nails were on the opposite side? So I have to go to the shop now." He must be hiding some secret, but Jiang bandaged his leg and Nian went out to the light shop and saw that the shopkeeper was not there, but there was a packet on the desk, which contained a few bulbs. They were in a dim state. He wanted to take a bulb, then all the lights in the shop and the weather outside became strange. The shopkeeper came and said that you can't take the bulb and you think the others are very strange, right? Just like that, I think you are strange. Look down and see that you don't have any shadow either. Hearing this, he came and stood in front of his room. Shami said, "Save my daughter." When he came out of the room, Nian ran to him. Seeing that Juju was getting wounds, he got scared and went to his room. But Zhang didn't open the door. Even his phone didn't receive calls. He knocked on other doors but no one opened the door. But Mr. Jiang's door was open. In that room, there were countless umbrellas and a picture of Mr. Jiang and a man covered in blood. He came to Yushan's room, but that door was also locked from the inside. Yushan felt someone sitting behind her and was about to leave the room, but she couldn't open the door. At that moment, Nian came out of the building and walked into the alley. She saw Mr. Jiang standing there. She turned and walked away. Her head was badly cracked. She didn't understand what she was seeing, so she ran towards the lighthouse. The lighthouse looked like the ICU room of her hospital. As soon as she opened the door, she came to the ICU where some emergency patients were being tried to be saved. Nian looked at the faces of the patients and stopped. One of them was Juju, that little girl. Another was Yushan, the girl who had two shadows. Another was Mr. Jiang, who was walking around with an umbrella. It was shown on TV that evening that several people were injured and killed in a collision between a bus and a truck. Then the doctor came and said, "The patients are not doing well. Keep an eye on them." His face was very similar to the shopkeeper's. "It seems to be Nian. I had a dream where you were also with these patients." Doctor, understand what he said. He couldn't answer and said that my duty is to bring helpless patients from darkness to light in the ICU, between life and death. There are some more complicated things here, which we will understand at the end of the story. Then Mr. Zhang's son comes and starts shouting. He shows a patient and says that this man is responsible for everything. Nian looks closely and understands that it is that man named Libo who is covered in dust. Then Libo is shown again. He sees Juju sitting on the side of the road. Then he brings him to the lighthouse and says, "Can you take a bulb? Then you can get out of this place?" The shopkeeper gives him a light and says, "If you take it, you can go back to your old life." It turns out that his condition improves in the hospital as soon as he takes the light. But he says, "I need another light for my mother." The shopkeeper says, "Your mother's light has gone out." Juju says, "Then I don't want a light either." Libo says, "You have a chance. You take this and get out of here." Hearing this, "Your mother won't be able to go." He leaves his light and leaves, leaving his daughter with his mother, empty-handed. Shami gets very angry and says, "Where is your light? You don't have much time. If you delay, the light will go out and you will never get it back." Then Juju looks at her mother's hand and starts crying. Then it is shown that after the accident that day, Juju fainted and was buried under the sand. Her mother's condition was serious. Even then, she got up and started removing the sand with both hands, and this is where her fingernails came off. Then she pulled her daughter out and called for help. Hearing her call, the rescue workers found them. But something sharp had entered Shami's stomach. After a while, she died. Meanwhile, Juju says, "Your light has gone out, so you can't go anymore." "Then I don't want to go either. How can I live alone?" Then she convinces her daughter that she should go back. Her father is waiting for her. Her new stepmother and school friends are waiting for her. She will come to see her occasionally, maybe as a bird or a butterfly. After a lot of convincing, Juju agrees. Her mother says, take care of yourself, study, and eat on time. When she grows up, she will choose a life partner who will love only you. Then, when she becomes a mother, she will tell her children that their names are very good. There was a man who said that Juju was not only good, but that my mother was the best. Xiaomi said that from now on you have to go alone to your destination. Mom will not be able to stay by your side anymore. Juju went ahead and said before going towards the light shop, I promised that I would always take care of myself. But you also come to see me. His mother promised and told him to go ahead. As soon as he entered the light shop, his light was explained. Xiaomi said goodbye to him from outside. His dream was to spend the rest of his life with his daughter. He started a small business. Everything ended in that accident. Then Juju regained consciousness in real life. But Yushan's condition went even worse. In the world of imagination, he was sitting in his room thinking about his best friend Jia. That's when his second shadow took the form of his best friend Jia. Here is where the story goes. On the night of the accident, the two of them were together. That day, Jia had a high fever. Yushan forbade him from going. Still, he went out to meet his fiancée copyright. Yushan wanted them to be together for a long time, but due to family pressure, Yushan had to take this decision. Even though he was angry, he went to the train station to get him ahead. Jia said, I will be back before the new year in a few days. Like every time, we will celebrate together. But Yushan's anger did not subside. He went to the front seat and sat down. At that moment, an accident occurred with a truck. Jia held him from behind. Until his last breath, he saved his best friend with his life. That is, he died on the spot. Yushan was still alive because his injuries were minor. Meanwhile, in the fantasy world, the two best friends saw each other again. Yushan took a thermometer and asked him to measure the storm. Jia said, now there is no need for all this. He went to the light shop and brought a bulb. He went out to the light shop, thinking that if he got the light, he would return to real life. Jia burst into tears because this was their last farewell. But Yushan had no idea about this world. However, when he went to the lighthouse, the shopkeeper explained everything to him and said, I understood everything. He returned after a while. That's why a light in the house kept going out, and that was your light, so I left mine. I can't be selfish like you. I left to be together on an eternal journey. It can be seen that when the time of the light he left past, the last ray of light goes out, and in real life he leaves the world with a smile of eternal peace in his eyes and tears of joy in his eyes. At that moment, Li Bo comes in front of Jia's window and sees Yushan in the house and realizes that he stayed of his own free will and asks him for forgiveness in his heart, saying how much has happened for my mistake. On the other hand, Mr. Zhang's condition was also getting worse. The doctor tells his son to pray for your father. We have nothing else to do. He sees that the nurses put headphones in his father's ears where the song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star was playing. Mr. Zhang used to live in a nursing home or old age home. He had amnesia or a disease of forgetting memories. He would always come to the reception and sit in the hope of his son, but the nurse said that his son did not come this month either, so due to amnesia sometimes she thought her son was still young and had to be picked up from school. One day, she left the nursing home and came to the school. Even though it was late at night, she stood there. She told the security guard that school would be over anytime soon. The boy would cry if he didn't see me, so she was standing here. When the guard saw her bracelet, he realized that she had run away from the nursing home. So he took her to the bus stand and put her on a bus. At that time, Li Bo was driving towards the city from the other side. She was carrying sand in her truck. Her boss called her and scolded her and told her that if she couldn't come in 20 minutes, her job would be lost. Hearing the boss's scolding, she became a little distracted. Just then, a bus came in front of her and that's how they had an accident. We understand that Mr. John had forgotten the way to the lighthouse in his imagination, and that's why he walked all night amidst the bullets. When he was sitting on the side of the road with a heart full of despair, Li Bao came and carried him on his shoulders towards the lighthouse and dropped him off in front of the shop. As he was moving forward, Li Bao bowed his head and apologized to him. Jiang turned back and said, "This is our destiny. It's not your fault." He came inside the shop and saw him. The shopkeeper said, "I was waiting for you." As soon as he took it, a bright smile appeared on his face and he regained consciousness. In real life, his son apologized to him and said that he would never let him be alone again. Then Nian was cleaning Li Bao's ears because his ears were almost closed after being buried under the sand. It was seen that in the world of imagination, for the first time, he heard the flapping of bird wings and the sweet sounds of the sunny day. He died with a smile in his face. In the hospital, Nian asked the doctor why we couldn't save everyone. The doctor said, "This is the reality of fate. We can't change it even if we want to." Then Zhang cooked all of Nian's favorite dishes. Nian always liked Zhang's cooking. He started eating quickly. However, when Zhang said, "Say goodbye to me now," tears fell from his eyes. The water was boiling, but he restrained himself and said, please don't go." He burst into tears, saying that the paintbrush was behind him. The story goes again. On the night of the accident, the security guard put Mr. Jun on the bus. He promised his mother that he would take him for a walk again next week. He got angry with Yu Shanjia and sat in the front seat. After that, they had an accident and those brushes were seen in the bus. The driver of that bus was Jing. Then he was also brought to the hospital. He hit Nian's leg while he was on the stretcher. Nian knew that Zhang was no longer alive. After that, he completely collapsed and could not get out of depression. So he went to a psychiatrist. He had to go through psychological therapy and various sessions. There was a session where the doctor manipulated him through verbal tricks and took him to an unreal environment. There, Nian saw all the people who had been killed on the night of the accident. I saw him in the hospital, meaning Zhang bought the brushes that night, but he never returned home. At the end of the therapy, Zhang said goodbye to him. After the accident, there was a fire there. There was no way to get out. The fire was so hot that a lot of sweat came out of my body. When I remembered that, I still sweat and tried to wipe it off many times, but after a while, the sweat started to fall again and collect on the floor. I never thought I would see you again in this world. The shopkeeper said that you missed me a lot, so you came to see me. They moved forward through that yellow wilderness for the eternal journey. And the rules came into reality. The doctor who made a sound with a spoon brought him from imagination to reality. This time, he felt much lighter. From then on, he spent the rest of his life with the white memories of Jing. At the very end, it was seen that Mr. Jiang was completely recovered. His son and grandson he came and took her home. Juju now lives with her father and stepmother. Her new mother loves her like her own daughter. Every now and then a butterfly comes and flies near her window. Every time she is very happy, thinking that her mother has kept her promise and has come to see her as a butterfly.